Good evening. I just wanted to discuss a little bit about a book that I've been reading. I like I like stuff that has to do with Amish. I like Christian fiction. I like Amish fiction that has a Christian message, and that sort of thing. And I've been reading Lauraine Snelling's book called An UnTamed Land, and the character Ingborg. I think that's the way they say the name. Ingeborg. I've been pronouncing it Ingborg, but a lot of times when you're reading to yourself, you kind of, you know, skip over it or whatever. But I think it's Ingeborg or something to that effect. How, if anybody knows how to pronounce it any differently, if I'm doing it wrong, please let me know. But anyway, they come from Norway on the boat back in the 1800s, and she has her sister-in-law and her husband and her stepson and her um, brother-in-law, and they all come from Norway, and they overcome all these obstacles on the boat, and then they, live for a while in New York, and then, they save up enough money and they move out to the Dakota Territory and build everything up, and they go through tragedies, of course, and all kinds of interesting things. And just when everything starts to, they have their house, they have their farm, they have enough food, they can share. They even have another extra house on their land so that both families can have their own place, and they're not all squished into one soddy. And I'm thinking something's going to happen. Something bad is going to happen. Because there was like, you know, 5, 6 more chapters left, and I'm like, it should be able to end on a happy note here, but I just know something's going to happen. And wouldn't you know, there's an epidemic of influenza, and both husbands die and two of the children, and leave these women widows on the prairie in North Dakota. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, I've been reading this book for months because I accidentally left it at my mother's when I visited, and I just picked it up this past week, and I couldn't wait to get back to this book because Lauren Snelling, Lorraine, she really has a way with words and makes you feel as if you're there, and really knows how to take you to where she is in her mind and where her characters are. Just a simple little sentence like, the shade from the canopy of trees kissed her with coolness. I mean, not everybody can make a sentence like that. A turtle sunned itself on a log, and across on the other bank 2 ducks dabbled in the shallows. Overhead a crow announced the news with a hoarse caw, flapping its wings and setting on top of a cottonwood. You know, just beautiful prose. But Lorraine, did you have to kill the husbands? It's a message of, people losing their faith and regaining their faith in God through trials. And I couldn't, I'm one of these people who, if I'm watching Desperate Housewives and it looks like somebody died and I don't want them to be dead, and it's not going to be happening till next season that I find out, I will go on the internet and I will look up the spoilers. And if the outcome is not as I see fit, I won't watch it. I know that's kind of spoiled, isn't it? But what are you going to do? So I, skimmed ahead to see what was going to happen. And yes, it ends happy. Both women find new husbands. But I'm like, I would have been much more satisfied if, excuse me, if these, if the husbands that you as the reader fell in love with, could reach a successful life at the end of the prairie with the wives, the beautiful Norwegian wife with the beautiful braid around her head. And I love the rosemalling and the way that they portray her clothes. I don't know if you can see that there. It's It's a beautiful picture of the character. Well, in any case, I guess that's the way life is too. Life doesn't turn out the way that you want it to all the time, most of the time, and you can freak out and whatever. But I have to admit, I probably will read a couple of books that I know are going to have happy endings before I pick up another of Lauraine Snelling's. I was at the Christian bookstore today and I looked at a couple and I thought, oh no, I'm not going to read for that long. Just to, I'm drifting off to sleep last night thinking about this. You know, just like if you watch a movie on television, you know, it goes with you. You know, and if it leaves you with a good feeling, you feel at peace. That's why we're reading this, to be entertained, not to be faced with the reality of how rough things were when they settled the prairie. And I would say, yes, I want some reality. Definitely want some reality, but I don't want the main character's husbands dying after reading 303 pages of small type. So anyway, that's my little rant. Thought I'd share that with you. Have a good evening.